On this journey, we'll uncover information relative to the glorious history of the black man and lay down evidence of how his legacy was stolen. We'll also reveal why is it necessary to take this journey? Well, for starters, the educational, political, economic, and social systems of the Western world have succeeded in promoting a distorted image of the black man. But this is nothing new. This program is based on the book, Return to Glory, The Powerful Stirring of the Black Man, and this account is written by two authors, business consultant and professional counselor Don Griffin, and former Washington Wizards chaplain and international speaker, Dr. Joel Freeman. Let's begin the journey. During the 1700s, famous French historian Count Constantine de Volney viewed the Sphinx during a trip to Egypt. This was before its nose and lips were allegedly disfigured by the cannons of French soldiers during their invasion of Egypt. When de Volney saw this awesome structure, he later wrote,
"On seeing that head, typically Negro in all its features, the ancient Egyptians were true Negroes of the same type as all native-born Africans."
Here's an eyewitness depiction of the Sphinx sketched by Baron V. Denon prior to the disfigurement, regarded by some to be the handiwork of French soldiers. Other Egyptian statues were disfigured in precisely the same way. One can only speculate about the motives of such vandalism. The image of the black man had been distorted. Let's go back in time and find out what it was like for the black man in his glorious state before his image was distorted. During the 1800s, Napoleon's army had recently opened up Egypt for European archaeologists and historians. American scholars would soon follow. As they studied and translated Egyptian documents and unearthed monuments, Black Africa, it was clear, was the mother of Western civilization. Egypt, located on the continent of Africa, is one of the earliest and greatest civilizations ever known. But what is the true racial identity of the Egyptians? Well, historian Gaston Maspero made this statement.
By the almost unanimous testimony of the ancient historians, the Egyptians belonged to an African race which first settled in Ethiopia on the Middle Nile.
Human civilization started in Africa. There was an article in the July 29th, 2001 issue of U.S. News and World Report. In this issue, they stated that through DNA analysis, that scientifically it has been proven that civilization started in Africa.
One can make a strong argument that people of color, Hamites, are the originators of civilization, and certainly we have strong evidence from civilizations such as Egypt, the pyramids, and even the Sphinx. If you look at the face of the Sphinx, you don't see the face of a European. You see the face of a black man, the thick lips and the Afroid features, and we know we're still trying to fathom and demystify some of the great achievements of that great civilization.
Now that we know who the Egyptians were, let's travel back even further before human civilization began. For this, we'll need to refer to the best source of information that represents all nationalities and serves as a rich repository for black presence in history: the Bible.
The Table of Nations from Genesis chapter 10. We can see that from Ham and Shem and Japheth, and we know that from Noah and Mrs. Noah, that these three sons came, and from these three sons came all the nations as we know it today.
The Bible makes it clear that a man by the name of Nimrod was the founder of Babel, or what we come to know later on as Babylon. And so from a biblical standpoint and from a historical standpoint, some of the oldest civilizations, certainly we can say that the Hamite, or the people of color, or black men, were the originators of those civilizations.
After the Tower of the Babel and men were spread, the genius and creativity that was in the black man, who was leading in the way of civilization, in terms of science, mathematics, and language, and writing, and those sort of things, went full-blown with him into Africa. And he, when he settled there, the Bible calls it several times, Africa in the scripture, the land of Ham, that when he got to Ethiopia and then later Egypt, he reestablished civilization in those lands.
Although the Bible is rich in black history, scholars have used passages of scripture to support a myth that blacks are a cursed race.
That is the most oppressive, non-contextual heresy that's ever been presented in reference to the curse of Noah to Ham, they literally won't even read the Bible. When Noah was in his tent and then Ham uncovered him, he didn't get up and say, I curse Ham. He said, I curse the Canaanites. And what happened with that was he marked them. And all the Canaanites have been an enemy to the people of God. But it wasn't a color thing.
It is my belief that the curse on Ham was fulfilled 3 to 4 generations, according to Exodus chapter 20 and verse 5. This curse was visited upon Canaan and only Canaan. The curse was not visited upon Ham, because then that would mean the entire black race would have been cursed, according to the biblical record.
We started out people of color. So it's impossible for the black race to be a curse, because that would mean the origin of the human race is a curse. And God looked at what he created and said it's good.
Now, let's take a look at the truth of what the Bible